Okay. Seems as though live. Check. 1, 2, 3. And we're gonna give a few momentitos for y'all to jump on. And we'll get started here. Let me, of course, I share the YouTube link into my Goddess Tribe on Telegram, which is a free group where if you are looking for like-minded goddesses who are also sharing on this twin flame journey with you, those who are awake, not woke, awake, there's a difference. And I'm about to dive more and more into that. It is really, again, getting to that point where it's like, if you're not speaking out about what's happening in the whole collective, then you're dimming your light. And I've been doing that. But that's why we're going to talk about that breath work today and clearing any of those lower vibrations, any of those things that contribute to you dimming your light. So with that, your channel, here I am live. Copy link. Yes. And then I'm super excited because I have a new gift that I'm adding to the giveaway. I'm live on YouTube. Boom. Okay, it's okay. Perfect. Okay, dokie. That said, welcome, goddesses, to my channel, my feed, my space and place. And again, I'm dressed cozy again. It's one of those things where when it's rainy and it's cold outside, you just want to be all cozy. Like, seriously, I'm still in my fuzzy jammies, SpongeBob SquarePants. I've actually had, I confess, I've had these fuzzy jammies that I have for years. They're still in perfect condition practically. But they're oversized. They're from when I used to be much bigger. I used to be more than 50 pounds heavier than what I am now. It wasn't muscle either, really. I ate a lot of, how perfect that we're being led into this, right? The story of where this breathwork practice came from. So back, before the big whole 2012 thing that everybody was like, oh my God, the Mayan calendar ends. Well, what we didn't realize what that actually was is for a lot of us light workers, that was a light switch year, right? That was the year that the light switch got flipped. And you that are awake, you are in that space of starting to look at your life and go, wait a minute, things are just not as they seem, and really have that first major dark night of the soul. And a lot of us, that happened that year, that 2012 year, and we don't know what it usually is, especially Western medicine is all about big pharma. And here's a pill. It addresses nothing about the self. There's no real tools, none of that. And that was actually where my whole awakening journey began, long before I ever knew anything about twin flames. I was in that, again, that whole mental lack of care system that we have, where again, it's just about the synthetic drugs. It's all about creating customers, not about actually healing you. And that's why all of us light workers are here. That's why so many of us have had to go through these personal firsthand experiences of knowing what it is to be absolutely, utterly disempowered. And one of those major systems is the mental health care system. I like to again say lack of care system, because it's not actually you that they care about, right? That's why we don't get practices and techniques, and it's not about meditation. It's not about looking at your diet. It's not about looking at your sleep schedule. It's not about any of that. It is, here's a pill. Let's just mask the symptoms and make it go away. That'll make you better, right? And so I had none of that, and none of the actual tools. It was just the pills, right? Way back when. And and that was the thing. Okay, so my anxiety had gotten so bad, the depression so bad. I was on Prozac and Xanax, the typical things, right? And for a minute, I was okay. And then they stopped working. And that's this cycle. Again, it's creating lifetime customers, right? So that cycle starts again, where you're in complete and utter powerlessness. You're in an abyss within yourself. You don't know who you are, where you're going, what's up, what's down, and that is the system, right? It's created that way. The healthcare system is not created from a perspective of caring about your health. It is about caring about their bottom line, right? So that was again my journey, and it was the depression first with the Prozac and stuff. Then they moved me into because that was when things really exploded, right? And my anxiety got so severe because all of the trauma from what had been my life as the pimped out drug addicted prostitute, right? The assaults, the rapes, the fear, constantly living in fear. So all of that PTSD finally caught up to me in about that 2012, 2013, 2014 time frame, where something had to give, right? And that's why we call it a mental breakdown, because it's breaking down all of the things that are not you, so you can break through. But we like to see this whole mental breakdown as, oh my God, it's so bad. No, it's not, because it's breaking down all the shit that you are not, so you can get to the root of what you are, of who you are, right? But we need these tools to achieve that. But that's why the system is set up to not do that, because that means you are being shown your power. You're being shown the power that you have by reconnecting with who you truly are, and they don't want that. But that's why rebels, warriors like myself are here in this world, and why it's been choosing the paths that have been chosen. Hello, goddesses. Look, we have so many. I'm so excited. Wave, wave, wave. That's so cool. Hello, say hi. Let me know again. Remind me where you're watching from, how you're feeling today, what day you're on the challenge, because right now it's just this perpetual, I'm creating it. I have created it, and we're really moving into it as being a perpetual challenge with a perpetual giveaway. So everybody's going to be probably in different places on the challenge journey. But we're all in together, and it's all interconnected. So that's why I structured it this way. So with that, as I was saying, that time period, again, led me into that space where I could not leave my house. My landlord, which I've mentioned this, right, with this house, I'm having that whole vortex coming back around. Yes, from Berlin, Germany. I remember, goddess. Yes, I love this. I love being able to touch all around the world. It's so amazing. Empowerment Experiences was always a global vision, and I get to do it right here on my screen. It's so great. Right here in the comforts of my own home. It's in my jammies, in my SpongeBob SquarePants jammies, I'm telling you. Our stories are so similar. I was never a prostitute, but in high school I had my mental breakdown. I was told I was bipolar 2. I haven't trusted doctors ever since then. Right, I don't, any of it, because they don't actually give you tools. They just give you a pill. So, and then what happens is, of course, that stops working and the cycle starts all over again. So these are also the karmic cycles. These are also templates that we are here to transmute, which means we have to go through them to grow from them, right? And then in turn to know what needs changing, and most importantly, how to change it by learning how to be the change in your own life. So that is my story, is after the whole antidepressants and then the whole breakdown there, and I ended up going to a place called urgent psych care. I actually did 24 hours in a psych ward, and having done 24 hours in a jail cell, I will take a jail cell before I go to a psych ward again. Thank you very much. If that says anything about the system, I will choose a jail cell before I would go to the psych ward again. And it was simply because I opened my big mouth, because I am that transparent person. I liked it. And I had made the underhanded comment that I'm just going to drive my truck off the overpass then. Well, they took my truck keys and said, you don't get to leave then. And I'm like, it's really a trip when someone or an entity, shall we say, all of a sudden declares it has power over you and you have none. And that's the other thing we're here to break as well. And that's what is happening. That's what the Great Awakening is all about. It is about humanity reclaiming its power back from this entire system. All of it. Because not a single facet of the matrix is made to nurture humanity. It's made to succubus humanity. We are being fed off of. That's why the fear, that's why all the low vibrations. That is why all the mental health problems that humanity has, because think about it, you're in all these lower vibrations, right? You're in fear and blame and shame and guilt and unworthiness, self-loathing. You're just in all of this icky swamp like emotions, right? Energy, icky, gross, disgusting place, right? But that, when we are kept in those energetic states, our energy is actually being harvested. I know it sounds a little out there, but I'm here to tell you, when you've seen the things I've seen and lived the life that someone like me has lived, then you see things that most people above ground, shall we say, because I was down here. So here's like, you can view the matrix, right? Here's the above ground matrix. These are everybody that did what they were supposed to, right? You went to school, you got your job, you did your family, you did all of that. Me, I didn't plug in like that. I couldn't. And I'm like, well, fuck that. I'm gonna, like, I love the Robert Frost poem, you know, the two roads diverged in a woods, and I took the path less traveled by. And so that's where I was. You had the opportunity to go stay above ground, or I chose the underground. So I have lived in that underbelly of the beast here in this matrix. And I'm here to tell you that the entire thing is, it's very evil. I'm just going to call it like it is. It's very evil. Every aspect of the systems, because none of it's made to nurture the human spirit. It's made to diminish it. All right. And we're here to break that shit. And that means to be the change that we need in our own lives, to experience these broken systems so we can come out on the other side and know firsthand how to change them, how to create different moving forward, and to stop feeding the old. Okay? To pivot away. It's like, I know, because we've been taught that you want to look at something and go, I don't like that. That's not good. I don't like that. That's not good. But what are you doing? You're feeding that power. Wherever your finger points, that's where your power goes. So when you talk, and we need to do a Care Bear stare. Yes, Amy! Yes, Goddess Amy! Care Bear stare! I fucking love it! I'll have to go get I have a 25th anniversary Care Bear. I'll have to do the Care Bear stare. I fucking love it. Oh my God, I need a Care Bear shirt. I don't have I have a Rainbow Bright and an Oscar the Grouch. Of course I have an Oscar the Grouch shirt. Of course I do. For those kinds of days where it's like, look, I'm not peopling today. Just read the shirt, scram, okay? But I agree. Care Bear stare. But that's the thing with words don't teach. Only life experience gives that understanding. And so when we finally allow ourselves to see that, even Abraham talks about this, because I incorporate a lot of Abraham Hicks in my coaching. She's just one of they. Abraham is a they, is just one of those things that I utilize, one of those tools that I utilize in my coaching. And they talk about how words don't teach. Only life experience gives understanding, number one. Number two, whenever you are pushing against something, you're still feeding it energy. So you may be anti something, but even in the anti of something, you're still feeding whatever you're anti toward. You're still feeding it energy. Get the fuck off the subject completely. And focus on what you're creating because you don't like that's been created. That's how we change, is we stop watering the weeds. Such things as racism or politics, period. It doesn't matter what side you're on. It's all the same fucking bird. The whole government system is corrupt and criminal. Don't play it all. I'm like, I don't support any of it. I'm like, anarchist, fuck the government. Because the government, it is not for the people. No. And especially again, when you see the bigger picture of understanding that we have well, those who are actually running the government, they're not who we think, or they're not who we've been taught they are. In fact, pretty much all of human history is a lie. Question everything. That's what I'm telling you. And it's just that space again. Looking at how the systems are set up, looking at in yourself and how, especially as light workers, as star seeds, right? You have probably gone your entire life saying, man, number one, this shit don't feel right. Number two, nope, because it's the government, all the governments. In fact, if you know what's really going on, you recognize that there's no real actual U.S. government. DC, that whole land isn't even part of the United States. We're owned. We're a corporation. We are not a country. See, when you know real history, when you've done the research, then you know that the entire thing is a facade. It's all a facade. There is not a single politician that's on the side of the people. It's all a swamp. It really is. But the whole thing is a psychological operation. All of it. All of it. Because the governments were not made for us. Again, we would be on this live for a very long time for me to give you the whole rundown of what's happening. Let's just say, yeah, the New World Order is a thing. Yes, one world government. We are well in that right now. That's what the whole passport thing right now is about. The whole V passport, yeah. It has nothing to do with an illness, nothing. It's all about tyrannical control. It's all about fully pushing humanity into total enslavement. And anybody who doesn't see that the entire system is a slave system, again, the whole system is created to undermine the human spirit. Look at how prevalent depression is, how prevalent anxiety is. Look at how fear is the tactic used to manipulate the masses. And when you learn about the emotional frequency scale, which we talk about this in one of the days of the challenge, I actually send that out, the emotional frequency scale, where it talks about, because everything is energy, everything is vibration. Right? And when we aren't taught this, and we're actually emitting, for the most part, the frequency of fear and below, then we're feeding the negative of the system. We're feeding the system, and the system feeds off of the lower vibrations. Again, it's out there, Amy. I would blow your mind with the things that I have come to very much know and believe about the whole big picture of the world. It's not just U.S. It's not just, it's a whole, I mean, I'm right now watching the conspiracy theorist side going, oh my God, would y'all stop being right about things? Because if they're right about this, some of the other things that I've discovered, I'm like, oh, please don't be right about that too. Because that's just horrific. Yet, when you see it, yeah. So with that though, we are here to see it for what it is, but detach from it and anchor into where our power is, which is within ourselves. To no longer feed what isn't nourishing us. To no longer water the weeds of that garden and instead to pivot over here. This is what the new earth is about. It ain't got nothing to do with what's already been built. That is crumbling. The systems are crumbling. The pharmaceutical industry, the medical industry, the gut, all of it is crumbling. The media, all of it. Hollywood, you just watch. What I'm hearing that song, we all fall down. There's a song that has that. I can't even think of. Toy soldiers. Like dominoes, all falling down. Let's just buy an island somehow detached from any government. Well, here's the thing. For future, because it is about saving humanity in essence, right? It is about liberating humanity from these bondages. However, the only way we do that is by liberating ourselves from the bondage. That's the energetic, that's the physical, the emotional, the spiritual. It's really allowing yourself to see the systems, aka the whole system, the matrix, for what it is. Okay? This is why I say, like, I believe in a whole reptilian race. I believe in aliens. I think it's utterly absurd to think that we're it. You want to talk about an ego trip. Like, oh, we're it. And I'm just going to say it this way. If you believe in twin flames, you believe in that concept of two souls that are mirror souls, just perfect blueprints of each other, matching, that come together into an even greater oversoul. If you believe in that concept, then you already have the expanded consciousness to allow yourself to pause and go, okay, what does Rochelle teach me? In the realm of possibility, all things are possible. Right? And this is what often leads us to all of our fear and anxiety and keeps us stuck, is because we just focus on the bad things, right? The things that have gone wrong, all the things that led us into that place of fear and anxiety, because what is anxiety but amplified fear? And that's coming from someone who knows it. Remember, my anxiety was so severe. What, 2000, see, that was 8 years ago, 10 years ago now, 2012, right? It was so severe that I could not leave my house, because that was, again, the story I was telling, right? This whole cycle, just as now the landlady quit paying the mortgage on the house I am in. So I'm kind of in limbo a little bit here, because I'm not interested in renting another house. I want to buy my schoolie, but I'm kind of like walking a tightrope because I'm not quite to where I can, get my schoolie outright that I'm looking for, the bus I want to convert. So I'm like, again, walking that tightrope going, I'm not quite there yet, because I refuse to just move. I'm done with landlords. I'm so done, because this guy, that was what really kind of fueled my meltdown and my anxiety, is because I started getting notices in the mail that he stopped paying the mortgage. And back then, I didn't understand anything about what was going on. And all I would read on that thing, all I understood was that the bank had the right to basically come to the house and lock the doors and lock me out, the tenant who was renting the house, and I started to feed that fear. I started to feed it. I started to focus on it, right? I started to water the weeds, right? I started to go, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. If I leave the house and then I come home and then it won't be there. Like by the time a few months had passed and I was watering the fucking weeds of that garden, right? My anxiety had gone from just the house isn't, the mortgage isn't being paid, to, oh my God, I will come home and the house will have just disappeared. Like that is the extreme that my mind took it to. And this is what happens when your mind goes unchecked. When you continue to water those weeds persistently and consistently, it proves the benefits, or not such benefit in that case, of consistency. When you're consistent about something and you consistently focus on something, well, you're going to manifest it, right? Luckily, I didn't manifest like the house disappearing, but in my mind, I created such a state of panic that I couldn't leave the house because, oh my God, if I left and all my animals would be there locked in and I wouldn't be able to get to my animals. And it was just, wow. And it sent me spiraling. And what I ended up happening is that was then when they then diagnosed me bipolar instead of just depressed. Well, here's more drugs. And just usual, right? That helped in the beginning, right? Because it altered my chemistry. So it started to be okay, and I was like, all right, I'll ride this gravy train, whatever the fuck it is. Okay, we'll play this game. So then I'm being led down that path of, oh, well, you're just bipolar, and you have ups and downs. It's called being fucking human. Just say. Just say. Because what happened? This woman, I ended up, and English wasn't her first language, which I don't have a problem with. I love other languages. I think they're beautiful. However, I also understand as someone who likes to learn other languages. Yo hablo un poquito español, pero necesito practicar. No es muy bueno, no estoy. However, I recognize very clearly the comprehension is very shallow when you haven't been immersed in a language. So here I am attempting to convey to her what I'm feeling, what I'm experiencing. And at the time I was in a great place. I'm like, oh, sure. So these meds, all right. And I feel it was really because I got off the antidepressants. So I was no longer depressing other aspects of myself. Well, I was upbeat. I was happy. I would tell her that, oh, I have, like 4 or 5 days that are great. I get shit done and I'm just go. And I sleep, I sleep about 6 hours a night. I feel restored. I feel refreshed. Thank you, Goddess Mona. I'm like, yeah, it's been a minute, but and I was working on starting to learn some Hindi. I got to work on that a little more. But that was the thing is, I'm sitting there talking to this psychiatrist, and now she's like really programmed by the system. This is why you have an MD, you have anything at the end of your name that says you got a piece of paper that you've been well indoctrinated by the system. You're not my doctor. You're not the person I want to talk to. That's been just like you, right? Goddess Amy, that's my experience, because they are indoctrinated by the system, right? They want big pharma. It's all about drugs. And I used to work for a doctor. I am the first one to tell you that big pharma buys off the doctors to prescribe things, to give you drugs that you don't really need. Just saying. I know for a fact. They wine and dine them with 5-course dinners and shit. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anyway, so this woman, the psychiatrist, she says to me, because I would tell her that, yeah, I would crash, if you want to call it that. I would, like 4th or 5th day, I would be exhausted, but it was accomplished exhaustion. That was my descriptive for it. I said it was accomplished exhaustion. Like, you put in a work week, it's the weekend, and you're like, wow, I got so much done. I feel so great. Yes, I was so accomplished for the week. Yeah. And so I was in a great place. She actually says to me, this was a psychiatrist. She says to me, well, I'm worried about your mania. I think you're a little too high. Let's look at your meds. for the only 3 sessions that I met with her, 3 weeks, after every appointment, at the end of every appointment, let's look at your meds. Let's look at your meds. The very first appointment with her, when I was in that great place, right? She she increased that bipolar medication by 50%. Something in me said this isn't right. And yet gives me no tools, no techniques, no practices, no resources. Just let's raise your medication. Goddesses, it was a downhill slide into a fucking abyss. Within 2 months, I was a walking empty zombie. I felt nothing. Not only did I not really feel bad, but I couldn't feel good. I could not feel good. That good that I was feeling was gone. Gone. She erased it. And because I couldn't feel good, what was my only other option but to feel like shit? And so there I was again, ready to end it, ready to be done, because no one was helping me. No one was really showing me how to change my fucking life. So what had to happen? I had to do it myself. And that was actually around the time when I got introduced to essential oils. And I will, I'll have her on at some point in time. I'll have to go over and set up at her house. Maybe I can get her to come over here. We're all just so busy, right, these days. But Goddess Pam is her name. We met at a networking group in Chandler, and I had been introduced to some other, oils and MLMs and such, and it might as well have been Chinese to me, I'm telling you, because I didn't know anything about them. I had been giving nothing natural like that. And like I said, remember, this doctor discussed nothing about my eating habits, my sleeping habits, my mindset, my heart. None of that was discussed. It was always about the drugs. Okay? So when I got introduced to the oils, it was the one that I resonated with finally was doTERRA. All right, doTERRA was what? And Pam, after asking me what my thing, so I used to have restless legs horribly, which is a symptom, a side effect of extreme anxiety, right? Because you have so much anxiety coursing through, so much fear, because that's what anxiety is amplified fear. You've been feeding a fear for so long that it just becomes your baseline. That's where it becomes perpetual anxiety, right? You see where the correlation there? So if you can start to dismantle your fears, you are heading off that anxiety from truly overcoming you. So when you're experiencing anxiety, and we're going to be getting to the practice that came to me intuitively, that we're going to talk about here today, that is in today's, day 3 of the challenge. I say today, but we're all doing the challenge at our own pace, right? So, but she gave me 2 oil blends, and I started to, from that day forward, to really reclaim my own power regarding my health, and to recognize that the system, it does not have my health at interest. It does not have my best interest in what heart they do not have. The system does not have a heart, okay? The system is not for humanity. It's against humanity, right? It's for themselves. This is why I'm like corporate elitism. Capitalism is a good thing, because that's what gives me the free enterprise to be a business owner. It's, really clarifying things here. So with that, it was the oils, which that was something that kind of started to help calm me more, because here was the thing with the oils, and I don't want to open that. Oh, I have one right here. That's the thing that the oils started to empower me into doing, was breathing. When you smell something that's just so good, you just can't smell it enough, right? You can't breathe it. Like you want to Yeah, like, I'm taking me back to my own, huffing encouraged, we like to joke in the essential oil realm, because breathing in certain aromas, they trigger, obviously, certain responses in the body. And for me, I came to discover really quick, cedarwood is probably my all-time favorite smell. Because when I was growing up in high school, when I was back in Kansas, remember, I didn't feel like I was at home. I didn't feel I belonged. I felt like I was definitely the psychedelic sheep of the family. I hid in my closet all the time, my walk-in closet. And it was lined with cedarwood. And it took me a moment when I discovered this. This smells exactly like my closet, which was my safe space. And so when I found this oil and I started to do more breathing, I started to anchor more into the present moment. That is cardamom essential. Ooh, cardamom is your oil. And you know what? Cardamom, I bet I know why. It's chai. Cardamom is what's in masala, right? Cardamom is, because I love chai. But I love, and I understand chai is the word for tea. So when I say that, it's like spiced chai or masala chai. Like masala is but yes, so cedarwood. And so that is really what helped to get me. So it was an organic, intuitively led power reclamation journey that has been my journey. Because why? I don't have a programmed life coaching certificate. My certification is the stamp of experience on my life. Like, I've lived where so many of you are. I have lived, and I'm still living in so many aspects, because as you up level, you get confronted with those same blocks, just from a different angle, right? Getting out of that fear, facing that fear and pushing through that, right? So those essential oils, it's Farsi. Farsi tea is also chai. Oh, I love that. I love learning new things. I love it. All right. So, but yes, so and that is why also, because I love this, and I even like mixing wild orange with cedarwood. So this is one of the giveaways, is I am giving away wild orange, and I just may have to cedarwood, but I'm adding an extra giveaway prize that I'm about to tell you about after we do go over really quick, discuss this practice. So how this practice came, this breathwork practice for today is, yes, remember, through organically being introduced. And by the way, I weaned myself off. Now I say weaned, you never ever, because it's synthetic, right? You never just cold turkey yourself with especially big pharma stuff, right? You have to be the one to, be empowered with your own health. You've got to be that one that's empowered in your own health. So you need to be tuning into you and what is best for you. So for me, as I started to see the incredible, profound impact of these oils, I began to, bit by bit, wean myself off. And it took 6 months, because I did it responsibly, and transition to all natural living. It's been years. I am so much better now, and knowing that the power is in my hands, not in some system that does not want to see me get well, but it's in mine. So again, though, there's so many organic, natural, just multiple layers of benefits to essential oils. So the big thing was, right off the bat, was breathing. Again, it helped to bring me more into the present moment by giving me something that not only smelled good, but allowed me to feel good, to obtain the benefits that also come with breathing in certain aromas, certain aromatic things that have aromatic properties, such as these oils, right? So It was a day that and so this was part of the journey, right? So I'm doing that. And back then I smoked cigarettes. You wouldn't believe I actually at one point in time in my life was up to almost a pack of cigarettes a day. I can't even fathom that now. Now cigarettes make me sick. Why? Because I programmed my mind to believe that. When I was ready to release cigarettes once and for all, because we all tend to, quit once and then we go back on and then we quit again. But that's the thing. Quitters never prosper. So I don't quit shit. I release it. I let go of it. And so that's what I did is I released the need for cigarettes by reprogramming myself to say cigarettes make me sick. Well, though, I didn't get there overnight. This was, again, part of that journey because cigarettes, for people who have anxiety, becomes a coping mechanism for anxiety as well. It's like, oh my God, I'm all stressed. So this was how this practice came to be. So here I've been on this journey, right? I started doing more breath work, more being present in the body because of the essential oils. Well, then that led to organically going, okay, I'm ready to be more and healthier and healthier and healthier. Well, then it came time again to release the cigarette addiction. It was about day 6 or 7, and I went to a mall over in Scottsdale that I do not like. I'm not a mall girl anyway. And it's structured really funny, and then you have the parking garage, and it's very easy to lose track of your car. So I lost my car. And because of where I was with all of that intensity and that energy, I'm standing in a parking garage. And all I can think to myself as I am in the middle of a meltdown is I'm like, I just want a cigarette, right? Because that was my crutch. That was my coping mechanism. Stressed, anxious, right? To avoid having to actually walk through that block of anxiety, that fear right there. Instead, deflect it. Let me just stand here and have a cigarette. Let me just soothe it with, a drug, a nicotine, right? That in that moment, because I didn't have a cigarette and I was at day 7 and I was not about to fucking pick up again. Plus, I was training my brain. Cigarettes make me sick. 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 So I was already learning at that time how to reprogram your mind. At the same time, releasing and coming to understand how to release an addiction. Well, I didn't have the cigarette option, but what did I have? The breath. I had that breath that, I would use when I would smoke a cigarette, but I was putting poison in my body when I did, right? You see, so I was almost I was canceling out the benefit of that breath work, right? Because I was smoking a cigarette at the same time. So this time it was no cigarette. It was in the moment. And mind you, remember I'm in a panic attack, basically, not having the cigarette, withdrawals still, and all of that in a stressful space. What did I have to fall back on? The breath. And in that moment, I closed my eyes and I breathed. I took a breath in. I'm calm. And mind you, this is when I'm in that parking garage in that really tense space, right? And I'm just like, I am serene. I am peaceful. And those just came out of me. And then I did it again. And I did that routine. I did that practice a couple times. And it had such an impact. It soothed me so much that is why it is now, all these years later, still a vital tool that I use in my coaching. And it's called the CSP practice. Calm, serene, peaceful practice. Because it's no different than me saying cigarettes make me sick. I'm focusing on the link between cigarettes and sick. And I did that on purpose because I wanted forever forward that when I think of cigarettes, I think sick. was the correlation that I wanted. I don't want to think, oh, cigarettes soothing, cigarettes, you know. No, it was about getting into that healthy space, and cigarettes were not healthy, right? So that is the calm, serene, peaceful practice. The CSP practice came from my own personal experience and the effect that it's had on me. And so many clients who come to me who experience anxiety and overwhelm have found this practice to be so beneficial because it's so simple to recall. And once you've done it a couple times, it's going to begin to become second nature. It's going to pop into your mind when you're in that panicked place, when you're in that overwhelmed space, and you feel like your energy is all chaotic and you need to call that back in and recenter yourself and bring yourself back into balance. This is that practice that is going to do that for you, right? And if you happen to have oil, I encourage you to use that too, right? So that is the CSP practice. That is what's in day 3 of the challenge. And with that, I have to share, it hit me. I'm like, I don't know why I didn't add it from the beginning. So for the giveaway gifts, because every day of the challenge, you have challenge activities. And for all of those days of challenge activities, you also have accountability activities. And it's through the accountability activities that you earn entries to win a giveaway gift, or 2 or 3, who knows? It's just going to be random drawings out of a jar, right? With your name, however many entries, however many accountability activities that you complete is how many entries you have in the drawing each quarter, because the drawings are held quarterly. So the first drawing will be the first week of April. We're already starting it now, obviously, and then we'll go. So I am stoked though. So we have, you can win coaching sessions with me. You get to win, I'm doing, essential oils, right? You can, wild orange. The reason why wild orange is we like to call wild orange the happiest oil on earth, because it is. And I'm also gonna, because I love to bake with my oils. I will, I think I know what else I'm gonna do. What happened here? Boy, that's not a good bottle. It's almost half gone. I'm gonna have to say something to them. Anyway, I love to bake with oils, so I will definitely give you some of my recipes on what to definitely do with that. So and then of course, as I mentioned lately, we have Miss Gina with crystalline essences, and these are my 3 favorite products of hers that I have. These 2 are sprays, body sprays, and this one especially, I love this. This is Calming Moonlight Rays. Love it. It smells so good. This is like probably one of my favorite sprays. What is it? It's got vibrations, essential oils. It's the vanilla. It's the vanilla in it. This, I think, got me so hooked. And then her latest one she sent me, the 5D activation assistance. I love it. And then these are little energy infused drops that you put into your water. And this one she gifted me, Allowing Love, and I'm telling you, it's amazing. I do, because it is intention. So those are prizes, and how it works is, not all of these are the prizes. When it comes to Gina, you will get to have a session with her, an energy session where, you'll discuss where you are and what would benefit you most of what she has. And the one thing that is your most important, that would have the greatest impact for you right now, that you get as a free gift as well. So you get the session with her and a free product from her shop. And then the newly added bonus, oh my gosh, like I'm not even sure, because I have all these set up and I didn't even think how I'm going to show all 3 cameras to what's going on. But the latest is valued at $100. It's one of the definitely bigger prizes. Is one of and it includes the cedar wood. It includes my favorite uplifting cheer blend. So I'm being uplifted while I'm grounding myself at the same time. That's the cedar wood. So, and let me see if I can just I'm so damn good. Okay, all three of them have it. Right here, this right here is my Creative Clarity Journaling course kit. It's the kit. So you get this kit, and of course, I will grant you access to the course. But you get this entire kit. It has pre-designed journal prompts that you put in. You get either a pink or a green journal, your choice, what color you want. We've got and these are ribbons for how to organize your journal. I literally have, because how I teach for this, for journaling, is that you have, yes, that's it, is that you create this as your guide journal. And so all of these pre-cut journal prompts that you will reuse, right? Because you revisit, right? Remember the spiral I was talking about? Especially when it comes to, again, as we know, lessons in life, you're going to get that opportunity again. So you will most likely be revisiting these journal prompts throughout your journey. And I teach you how to organize your journal to use, more as a reference tool, because a diary is for the drama, a journal is for the journey. A diary is a book wherein you basically vomit all over the pages. You don't actually reflect on what's coming out of you on those pages, right? You don't use that to help teach you, right? So a journal, again, is for the journey that helps you to uncover all of these things about yourself and what needs to shift, right? So you get the ribbons for organizing, because as I'm saying, you would use, so like this color, what's a color I can use that I've shown? All right. And then you would take that ribbon and see here on this journal here, look at my ribbons, right? I organize my journaling. Oh, sorry, I'm working on my journaling in here, right? So I can reference back to my journals. This one is incomplete. Obviously this is my in process one. You know, like the red for me is my health section. You know, what's my physical expressions in my body? What are they teaching me? What are they helping me to see about myself? So that is something that I do. And this course, let me rotate gently back around here. Hold on, I got a little crooked here. There we go. That was a fun little adventure, wasn't it? Okay, so yes, that is one of the, I'm just adding that to it now as one. I will give away one of those puppies there. The whole kit and the course walks you through all of these sections. And you get all the colored pens, because I love, again, just like in here for the challenge, I'm using multiple colors, right? I'm using the black for the questions and purple for some of the answers. Pink, I'm using actually for some of the things that I will, share for my posting for the accountability activity, right? I've always kind of been that way. That was how this course came to be, the Creative Clarity Journaling course and kit, is when I first started coaching. I did a seminar. It was a 10-week seminar. It's a massive program. It's in my vault. It is marinating, and it's going to be coming back out in the next couple years for sure. But I was showing my journal, and one of the goddesses who did the seminar, she's like, oh my gosh, I love how you journal. Mine's just such a mess. Can you teach me your ways? And I went, are you all interested in learning? And yeah, was the response. So that's where this came from. Again, this is why everything I teach comes from me personally. Everything that I coach is something that I have experienced, because words don't teach. You can read a book all you want, but unless you actually put things into practice and you experience them for yourself, you don't really know what you've read, right? You have to actually experience it. So with that, I'm super stoked. So make sure that you are doing the challenge, because it's the challenge part of the challenge activities. Those are the things that are you actually practicing these things, right? Do the CSP practice. Put these things into practice, because if you don't change things, nothing's going to change. You're the catalyst. True change begins when you choose to truly change. And that means to release the things that are no longer you, like my cigarette addiction back in the day, right? Release the things that are no longer you and reconnect with the things that are. That's what this journey is all about. It is reclaiming your power through learning to love that which is your self, your true self. But you got to reveal your true self to you, buried beneath all the crap that isn't you. And that's definitely something that course does. You can purchase the course and kit separately, or independently. The course and kit are also included as part of my Empowered with Rochelle All Access Pass. Yes, I am now including the kit. As part of that package, the EWR All Access Pass. So you get access to literally everything that I have utilized, that I have been led to create, that has changed my life, that has brought me to where I am from where I was, and, bringing more and more things in to get me to where I'm going, right? And that is, again, what this journey is about. It is about looking for where your power is, reclaiming that shit so you can rise and thrive on your journey, period. And so enjoy the CSP practice. Put it in your toolkit so you carry it with you. And here's what's awesome, is even though it's the CSP practice, you can put whatever words you want. Instead of calm, serene, peaceful, you can say worthy, abundant, and amazing. Whatever you want. It's just the original intention was for calming that anxiety, right? So with that, I thank you so much for hanging out with me this morning and hearing my wild adventures, and of course sharing with you what I've come to know is so profoundly impactful in reclaiming your power, especially after this whole twin flame thing. But that's why it's all about getting back to that foundation, getting back to you. So with that, goddesses, I will see you tomorrow. And I will be going live on Saturday morning. I know it's New Year's. I know it's the 1st, but I'm still going to do it. I will have been up late. So you better believe Saturday morning is probably going to be a jammy day. Just saying. Tomorrow I'd like to wear a sari again. I started working out. So, some of my sari blouses don't fit anymore. I got to order more. No. Thank you, Goddess Mona. I appreciate you. Truly, truly. All right, and with that, I will see those of you who are in the Goddess Tribe on Telegram. I'll see you in there because you have constant communication. You're constant communication with me. And then, of course, I'll see you all back here on Instagram, YouTube, and my Facebook business page, Healing Twin Flames. Same time tomorrow for day 4 of the challenge. Remember, true change begins when you choose to truly change, because the power to truly change and create what you want is in your hands, because that power has always been inside you. Namaste.